Hello, everybody. What is going on? You know what it is. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock ish, 8:08, whatever. Sue me. Uh, it's me and my guy, John Steppe here, with another Behind the Badge episode, and I'm just gonna get flat out to it. I'm just trying to picture you as a person, somebody that's calling 911, and you're waiting, and you're waiting, and you're waiting, and the police finally show up, and they have a nasty attitude, or they look sloppy. They're not really paying attention to what you're saying. You can't. They're quick with you. They're ready to get out of there. You can tell that they're ready to just leave. Well, that type of service you're getting is the result of burnt out police, mentally exhausted police, physically exhausted police, and flat out unhappy police. And that's what's reflected in some of these surveys that's being sent to police officers by departments asking them to fill it out. And it's anonymous. And if the results that we're getting back between 1 to 9% of police officers are happy with what they're doing, what are these departments actually doing with these results? Because this isn't the first or the last survey that's shown a decline in officers' morale. And I'm just going to flat out say it. It has to change, and we can't wait till something catastrophic happens for it to change. And Jay, you um, retired PTSD officer involved shooting, partner got shot right next to you. Me, officer involved shooting, nearly killed by a drunk driver on duty, diagnosed bipolar. Um, Things have to change. And Terry, what I mean by catastrophic, meaning these police. I'm just gonna paint the picture: of police sitting down and a police driving somewhere and eating his gun, or driving somewhere or making somebody in the community eat his gun. That's what I mean by catastrophic. These departments don't really care until somebody from the community is killed, or it's an officer fucks up so badly that then they want to be seen in their cute little uniforms and they want to be all a part of the community. That's what I mean by catastrophic. What I mean by catastrophic, I mean we can use Floyd, we can use we could use excuse me, we could use homegirl from what's homegirl that thought her gun was her taser. We could use that. Um Terry, we have that now, but like I said, people fake care for a week to 2 weeks, and then they don't care anymore until they're always waiting for the next big event to happen to start caring, and then bringing up past tense things that have happened. That's what I mean by catastrophic. It seemed like before we was arguing about something else. Now we're arguing about new things, and we're always waiting for the next shoe to drop. And my thing is, take care of it now. And when you got 1 to 9% of police officers that aren't happy, that's not going to help with anything that's going on in the community. And Step, you've been a part of these you've been a part of these surveys.
Mhm.
Explain to the people how these surveys go. What kind of questions you get on them?
So there's a couple issues with these surveys, and in the past, and I believe the most recent survey CMPD did is they require you to log on with a code number, right? So if you don't know what a code number is, it's each officer. It's kind of like a badge. You hear, oh, what's your badge number? Well, we have code numbers, right? So badge number. There's no. This is Hawaii 50. I tell people there's no badge number on my badge, right? But we have code numbers. So you have to log on to the survey using your code number. Well, what's the concern with that is they know who's leaving the review. So the only way for the review to be real is to have it anonymous, because officers are scared, and it's going to happen. If you leave a bad review, they're like, well, who's this fucking stick? So they'll look back, oh, Steppe left a bad review. Well, we'll show that motherfucker. He's on third shift from now. Yeah, right. So real or perception, that's the fear. So to get a true statistic of what the morale review is, and they ask, hey, how do you feel? Would you recommend this department to friends? How do you feel about leadership? They ask about command staff. They ask about support. Just a general survey, right? So I found a national survey on Police One, and it's right there in between. It's showing, and I was looking down because I wanted to make sure I get the statistics right. The Police One survey, which, if you don't know, it's probably the most gone to police site that the police officers use. It said that would ask if you would recommend a police work to son or daughter. A whopping 80.5% said no, while just 7.2% said they would. So basically, if you have a son or daughter, would you recommend them to go in this profession? Hell no. So 80.3% said hell no. 12.3 said I don't know, and then 7.5 said they would. So I don't know where the 7.5% are, but that must be somewhere they have politicians, maybe probably a smaller agency, they have support from politicians and admin. And 88% of those who were polled stated the lack of departmental support was the reason they said no. 88%. So think of that. 88 out of 100 officers said because of lack of departmental support. It's not lack of I could get killed when I go to my shift. The bad guys are mean to me. It's the department doesn't support their officers, and that's just not something that's probably very, very consistent with what the poll is here in Charlotte. But this is a nationwide problem. 88% of officers feel like they don't have support from their department, and they're not going to recommend it to friends and family.
And that shows in these surveys because we've seen it. Cops are either putting down disingenuous answers because they're scared of retaliation, or they're flat out not taking it.
Yeah.
And if you're not getting a real barometer, and then departments are doing what? They're nitpicking what to use to help push a certain narrative to paint their department as the best in the state or the city, or morale is fine. Morale is not fine. You and I both see that the, the Chiefs and everybody, they'll be saying morale is fine, but you'll see emails that are leaked how he's trying to calm the troops down, saying, I know, I see you upset. I see that you want outer vest carriers. I know that is bad for your back, but I don't like the way it looked, so we're not going to do that. That's morale.
And then
This is what I'm talking about. These politicians, these people in high places, they're telling you pretty much just shut up and work and smile, or just go work somewhere else. You could do that at Walmart. You could do that at McDonald's. Shout out to Walmart, McDonald's. I'm not shaming them. But when you got people walking around with 16 rounds of ammunition, a baton, a taser, what type of martial arts or military training, whatever they have, and then you're making them unhappy, then telling them to shut up and just go work, how do you think that's going to work out?
Oh, and you can't operate a civilian business, a bank, a corporation like that. You have to have the support of the people. So, and think about it, about 88% of the people in law enforcement, and this poll that I was quoting earlier was based on 10,000 officers they polled, right? But so that sounds about right, because 88% are the officers, probably sergeants and below, right? So the other 12% are probably lieutenants and above. So they drink the Kool-Aid. They're happy. They're behind their desk. They take care of each other. They don't have to worry about the shit that officers do. They're not getting uses of force and chases and getting hammed up for doing their job. And did you read the Terry Brook project? Are you familiar with them?
Yes, yes, absolutely, yeah.
So have you read their latest post? Did you get that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I did.
So do you want to go over that for a second and talk about how like eye-opening that is? And
Sure.
so,
Yeah,
and this
we can
relates
go
to
over that.
particularly Charlotte. So, uh,
Let
so
me
this is,
pull it up.
yeah.
Let me pull it up. Um,
And if you're not familiar with it, in Facebook, it's under Shane Charlotte. They do the Tabor project. But it's a
yeah,
pretty.
I got it right here. I'm about to go ahead and read it right now. Bear with me, everybody. I've been under the weather the past week, so my voice is gonna be going in and out. But bear with me. It says, police officer to citizen, tell me how is the world treating you? Is that my fault too? Citizen. Well, I think I do not really know. Is it media? Yes, let me share that with everyone. Politicians, yes. Shame on you for trying to help a broken society we created. Police brass, yes, the customer's always right. Now take another damn survey that we will not listen to. Quit complaining, shut up and do your job while we hire outside companies to figure out why you no longer want to do this
That's
job.
it.
Sound familiar? Seems to be the sentiment rolling around the profession of policing right now. 61 reported suicides and 140 line of duty deaths so far this year. Last week in Charlotte, we had officers shot at and 3 injured in vehicle related incidents. In a survey of police, only 1% of officers stated they felt happy or hopeful in this profession, and 70% are suffering from symptoms of depression. This is not okay.
So we'll start with that.
70%.
70%. So, and 1 in 4, another study I read earlier, 1 in 4 officers suffer with PTSD. So, some kind of traumatic event, death of a child, shooting, bad wreck. 1 in 4. That's 25% of officers, right? Uh, and then looking at the survey, 70% of officers suffer from depression. 70%. 61 reported suicides year to date. And this was last week article, so add a couple to it, more than likely. So, and then 140 LEO deaths. They did one of the major news outlets did a survey a while back about how many that they did go to random people. How many officers do you think get killed? You like 5, 8, 10? So far this year, 140 line of duty deaths. Right? That's not the suicides aren't counted in that. That's an additional, and most of those are job related. You'd see if it's shit you see, like we talked about last week with what makes a fire, shit you see, pressure from the job, lack of support from the admin and community. What do you think about those numbers? I mean, that's not acceptable, the Blue.
Not only is it not acceptable, but and it's going to tie into what Ann said. She said, is there a police run organization that could take these surveys and be a liaison between the officers department? And there, of course there are, but the reason with these departments are they're spending the money and they don't want the truth. They don't
No,
want the real narrative. They
mm,
want to control the narrative. So
exactly.
think about it.
What makes them
Let's
look
be
good?
honest here. If you're giving a organization money and you want to continue the business, are you really going to make them look bad? Are you really going to do that?
No,
And
they're
then
paying them.
if officers see a department spend $160,000 or whatever it is, but yet won't give you a raise, do you think officers are going to take these surveys seriously? So it doesn't matter who does the survey. Nobody's going to take them seriously, and the department wants to control the narrative.
And to Sean's point, the issue I think we have is I think our FOP does the best they can. Well, our FOP president is a full-time officer. Well, he's got to be careful about what he
That's a
says and
conflict
does.
of interest.
It is. So like elect somebody like me or Blue for FOP president. And you think we won't go up against the administration? And to follow up with what you read earlier under the same article, these are some of the perceptions that officers wrote in there. 1% of officers are happy. I guarantee you those 1% are either brand new cops who hadn't been fucked over yet, or they're so high in the rank
They're
that
so
like,
excited.
everything's great. I'm making $180,000 and I'm behind a desk and I'm just pointing fingers and making people do stuff. So some of the things quoted in this is and Blue, tell me which ones of these you could relate to. I think all of them, right? So I definitely get the first one, especially these days. It says this officer says follow directives. So you follow directives, get perceived as doing wrong because it looks bad, right? Perception wins out. And I have personal friends who did the right thing, who didn't break policy and do what they're trained to do, and it looks bad, and they threw the officer on the bus, right? So it happened during the last riots, and it didn't matter. And in this case, I'm talking about those officers who squared away, who worked with my unit closely, and everybody said it was good. They called in the trainer, the use of force review board, who's Mitchell and some of these other squared away dudes, said, hey, he acted within policy and training. He goes to a board. The board says, the sergeant says, yeah, the officer did good. The lieutenant says the officer did good. Everybody, the captain, then he gets to the major, who said, no, I'm sustaining the violation. So everybody, the use of force board, the chain of command, everybody says he was fine, and then he throws him on the bus. So that's a good point of it looks bad, so we're going to throw the officer on the bus. It doesn't matter if he acted within policy.
So I got a great story for that. Went to a call. A drug addict was beating on, I guess, her living boyfriend at the time. He had bruises. Everything matched up with what he was saying, so she was placed under arrest. I go to try to place her under arrest. She snatches away from me and she hog spits in my face.
Mm.
Now, by policy, what are we allowed to do if somebody spits in your face, Step?
Well, unless it's immediate, nothing, right? So you could probably, if they spit and you immediately push her or do something, you're probably could justify it. But if you hesitate, that's disgusting, right? Somebody spitting in your face. If you hesitate for a second and then push her, then you're in violation, right? You're going to get jammed up.
So I'm 5'9", and I was probably around
280?
270 at the time,
280?
280, and she was
300?
5'2", I believe, and she was like 140 pounds. Do you know? And this is before everything that happened. This was around probably 2017. Do you know immediately I've computed all of that in my head,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
said I can't put hands on her because it will look bad. It was people outside. So she spits in my face, she kicks me in the nuts. She threatens to have a MS-13 rape my daughter and give my daughter AIDS. All this while I'm typing a report away. I had to take her to the hospital. She kicks me in the nuts again at the hospital. She kicks me in the nuts at the jail. She's cussing me out. She's calling me all kinds of things, everything. All this stuff is recorded. Do you know that I got I got kudos from the sergeant because he was like, I don't know how you did it, especially after she spit on you and kicked you in the nuts. But do you also know I was told it's a good thing that you did not act on it or was rough with her because it would have looked bad.
Yeah. Fuck that.
I got spit in the face by a drug addict.
Ugh.
What are you talking about looking bad? Like I have to go home to my wife and
They
say,
care
you know what's out here today?
more
Go
about
back then.
perception
Right.
than what's right and what's wrong. Whatever, we shouldn't allow people to spit in our face, right? If they do it once, they're going to do it again. Uh,
What about hey Blue? Do you are you all right? Do you need to talk to
oh, they
somebody?
don't. They don't.
Do you want to go home for the day? Cause that's vile. I couldn't work and I got spit in the face. Thank God I had a great sergeant who said, knock out the KB cops report and go home. He was like, go
Must have
home.
been. Was it? Did the last name start with a V?
No, this was uh
Cardacy.
V was on second shift after this. It was
Card.
starts with a P. Sergeant Price.
Oh,
Sergeant Price told me to go home, and he was like, "Don't
good for
worry."
him.
And he was just like, "Go home." And I was like, "Nah, Sarge was short." This is how much I love the job. This is when you talked about this job. You don't get into this job to make money. It's a calling. It's like a duty. It's like it's just something inside you. I was like, "No, Sarge, we're short. Like I can do this." And he was like, "No, I'm telling you, go home. That's an order. Go home and get yourself together." I got spit in the face, and I still wanted to stay there and work
That's
for my
disgusting. Yeah.
brothers and sisters and for the community.
Hey, listen to this, Blue. Another officer consistent comment says, "Catch the criminal." We all could relate to this. It doesn't matter if you're in Los Angeles, New York, Indiana, Florida. Here, catch the kid. This is how it is. That catch the criminal. He gets out, repeats dumb shit. Catch the criminal. The repeat offenders that were so we put all this effort to go after bad guys, catch them, they resist arrest, we get in trouble and micromanage, they get out of jail immediately to do the same shit again. And then the only people who get in trouble with the officers because they the bad guy tried to kill them, so they cursed, or I mean, we all could relate to that shit. It
Do
used to
you
not be
know?
that way.
Do you know how bad it feels to do a good job, arrest somebody, feel like you're really getting a fucking scumbag off the streets,
Oh yeah.
and for them to legit tell you, motherfucker, I'm gonna be out in the morning. You doing all this shit for low wage, and I'm gonna be out.
And,
And damn it, they be correct.
yeah.
They're released. They're
And
released.
it used to be these motherfuckers used to beg and plead, don't take me to jail. Please, please don't take, because they used to actually get a bond. And now it's for the last 5, 6, 7 years, it doesn't matter. And then this is, so I can relate to this too. Support is silent. Chaos surrounds, more violence, just survive in peace. So I remember I had sinus surgery last year, and I remember going to the ear, nose, and throat guy, and he's like, "Hey, dude, I support you." I'm like, "People support you." I'm like, "Where are they at? Where are they?" This was a year ago. We were going through rides. I'm like, "Where are they?" He said, "Well, people support you." And then chaos, 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 chaos is all around.
Yes.
More violence. Just survive. Officers are like, "Hey, hands off, and just survive because we don't want to get fired or go to jail." So we talked about it earlier. We were talking to somebody earlier, and this doesn't affect just the police officers, right? So people expect us to see something suspicious and check it out. Well, the problem is now I can tell you, and I've been guilty of it, is I'm behind a car, 5 deep in a high crime area, tags hanging off. Everyone's looking straight ahead. No one's looking back. Somebody looks back. No one's talking. So you got a car with 5 people in it. No one's interacting. That's suspicious. The tag's hanging off. And then I'm like, you know what? This car's dirty. When we say dirty, it means probably something's wrong with it or something's in the car. But let them go rob somebody, and then we'll deal with it. So once they rob somebody, we'll go after them. But it's not worth it anymore because you stop the car you have a violation. Is that your mom?
Yeah, that's my mom.
Wait, hold on. We talk play mom or real mom?
No, real mom, not
Okay,
play
okay.
mom, real
Hey
mom.
mom.
That's my
Hey
real.
Blues mom. Did you tell you got a
That's my
tattoo of
real.
me on your arm? You didn't tell her that,
That's my
did you?
real mom. No, I did not. I did not. Not yet. I'm waiting for like
Show it to her.
Christmas.
Yeah. But so the 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 current environment is affecting law-abiding citizens. Crime is up all over the country. Violent crimes up, homicides are up. But because now you see something, love it. Yeah. So now you see something, and you're like, I'm not dealing with that. So Blue, you were around when we were at Belmont, which was like shootings, shit all the time. You get out with people. You used to get out, yo, bro. But was it Belmont Allen?
They knew you too.
Yeah,
Blue, we ain't doing that. That was shooting down the street. That
yeah.
wasn't here. You know, I tell you if it was, but that was down the
But you,
street, man.
open air drug market, prostitution, it was all there. We get out with them with hey, y'all got any weapons? We'll pat them down. Sometimes find something. Sometimes they're cool. Sometimes they run. But that's proactive policing. There's none of that anymore. It's reactive. We're like the fire department. So we're all hanging out, sitting, watching Netflix or whatever until the call goes out. We'll take our time getting there because heaven forbid we get there and catch a bad guy. And so you got a suspicious person around your house? Well, prepare to wait 15 to 20 minutes, right? So you have shots fired in the neighborhood. They'll get within earshot of it and drive off. They see some, there's no, because the department doesn't support it. They're not going to back you if you go hands on or getting something. It's not worth it. And the people are just looking to survive. They're looking to just ride their career out. They depend on this job.
Absolutely. And what we're seeing a lot of is you just see officers, they're treating it like a 9 to 5, 8 to 5. They're like,
It's not a
and
calling.
you know,
And
police
even
is
officers who have the
dynamic.
calling aren't being proactive because they can't. And I know officers who are some of the best officers that I worked with. Their sergeants and lieutenants are telling them to stay in the office, don't go anywhere, don't stop any cars, don't. So you think, hey, I'm a good officer, I'm catching all these bad guys, but they don't want it because these bad guys, they're going to run from you, which maybe cause the use of force or paperwork, and they don't want that. So they'd rather tell a good proactive cop to stay in the office.
And then you want officers, you want the community to understand. Like again, like we get it. There's some there's some shitty ass police officers out there. We told y'all the moment me and Jay
Yeah,
started doing this podcast
we don't offend those
or this
guys either.
live stream show, we don't give breaks. If an officer is wrong, we're gonna be the first to kick him in the ass. It's gonna be sometimes y'all not gonna like the fact that we agree with the actions of the officer and it doesn't quote unquote look good, but it was within that training. But if you but don't have it, you can't have a problem with officers that are going or doing things outside of training.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
have issue with officers that are doing what they were trained. So now you got to just deal with the training. You got to be like, hey, you gotta revamp something because it's the training. Because when officers do shit outside of training, that's when you could be like, hey, did you teach them that? No. Okay, that officer was in violation. But if a department says, yes, we taught him that, and you don't then like that, then you have a legit gripe and complaint to where um you could duke it out with the departments. But the issue with the morale with the police is when you get a call, guess what that officer is going to do? The officer with good morale and is happy to be there, soon as he gets that call, if he's like at a QT or at a gas station, he's gonna stop with doing whatever he's doing, get in his car, and make his way to that call. The officer with bad morale, he's gonna get one more drink, He's going to sip it.
Yep.
He's going
Take
to
his time.
already be. He's going to already be thinking, man, this is a shitty, stupid call. I'm probably going to not even be concerned when I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna be real short with the person. I don't give a shit what happens. That's that. That's what that. That's what the unhappy officer is going to do. Do you
Yeah.
want that quality of service?
No. And what also causes that, Blue, I think you agree, is officers get in trouble for doing their job. So they're like, they get spanked, spanked, spanked. So like, fuck it. That's what they want. I'll finish my slushy, and just take my time getting
Icy.
there. Icy.
Yeah.
And so then, some of these other comments I read real quick. Do I like the job? And the officers respond, everyone hates the police, should be a fireman, which is, I've said before, and it's not after, like, I was a cop during 9/11. I remember the support that we had in the fire department during that time. There's absolutely none of that. I've always said this. This officer stated, we are the police. They call us when they need us and then hate us when they don't. And I've always said, if you're in a neighborhood, like Blue, me and you are riding around Belmont, right? We're just riding around chilling, right? Trying to protect the good people in the neighborhood, and we're harassing people. A lot of people are like, you're harassing us because you're in here. Well, and on the hindsight, if you don't arrive within 15 seconds of them calling, you're neglecting them. If this was South Park, you get it. If this was South Park, y'all would have been here by now. So if you're in there proactive policing, trying to keep the people safe, you're harassing them. If you're not there within 15 seconds, you're neglecting them. So you can't fucking win, right?
But you know what I used to do, Jay? When somebody would be like, it took you an hour for somebody to answer my call. You know what I did say? I'd be like, well, ma'am, I just came from a child sexual assault case where the child was really distraught. She was being raped by a family member, and I had to console her, and also had to control myself from breaking the perpetrator's neck.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to tell them, like, oh, well, maybe my neighbor playing this loud music isn't really that big of a deal. You think?
And I would tell people, so some of the biggest districts, it's like Steel Creek was 62 square miles. Oh, when I was over second shift, we would average 6 to 12 officers for 62 square miles. And the calls, we'd log on, 10 calls pending. There were 10 calls pending when we got off. And people would get pissed off because they had a noise complaint, and it took officers 20 minutes to get there.
I love noise complaints.
And I'm
That's
like,
so funny.
I'm sorry. We were dealing with homicides. So I don't know if you saw earlier, Steel Creek officers got shot at earlier. They went to domestic, knocked on the door, and the guy's popping off rounds. So they didn't return fire because they didn't know what was inside. There are 2 officers who responded or squared away. I know them both. And they handled it properly. SWAT came up, de-escalated. The guy surrendered. It worked out well. But we've had officers. My personal friend Kevon Hazrati got shot in the head. Same scenario. They were arresting a violent offender and kicking in the door trying to get in, and he got shot through the door and shot in the head. This guy today had warrants from a last night DV. This job's fucking crazy. That's 2 officers, or I'm sorry, 2 incidents, multiple officers who've been shot at within the last 7 days.
Mm-hmm. And let me give you an example of training. You just mentioned SWAT, right? And you mentioned those 2 officers that they didn't return fire because they didn't know what's on the other side of the door, right? I'm gonna give you uh the Breonna Taylor incident where cops shot through the door.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to shoot through the door if you don't see where the threat. You don't see where the threat is. You don't see what's going on. That's the difference. That's when you get. That's when you get upset with officers that are doing things outside of training. These officers in an incident that Step just explained to you did the absolute right thing, even though I guarantee you 99% of you, if we was just to say, hey, do this call, and somebody shoot through the door, what are you doing? You're going to shoot
Walking
through
around.
that door because you're scared, or you're going to shoot through that door because you haven't been properly trained. That's why we're trying to tell you, be careful when you just assume or just talk about officers like you actually know what the hell you're talking about. I would rather you say, why did an officer shoot through the door, or why did an officer shoot back versus you saying, why doesn't an officer shoot into the air or shoot a warning shot or shoot a gun out somebody's hand? I would rather you just say, I don't know what the hell just happened here. Can you explain that to me? Because whether you want to believe it or not, if me and Step go officer involved, you're not there to hand the flag to our spouses and our children. You're not there to pick up the pieces of our brothers and sisters who was sitting right next to a brother or a sister, and now that brother sister is gone. You don't know. You don't know how that feels.
Yeah, I've ridden with well, officers, but at least one that have been shot and killed. Right, so I know what it's like to have a partner to get killed. I know what it's like to have an officer shot beside me. You've been in a shooting. You got hit by a car that you're still suffering with injuries from and knocked out. I mean, the stuff, but that's, what's sad about this profession is shit like that happens, and it's like, oh well, that's just part of the job.
And that comes from us.
Yeah,
That comes from us. We're like, hey, want to get back out there. I have personally been injured. You have been injured. And keep coming back sooner than what we were supposed to do. Lying. Lying to doctors. Hey, how you feel? I feel great.
get me back out there.
Lying. Because you want to get back.
For what? For the community and your people. You want to take care of heaven forbid something happens and I'm not there for my guys and something happens to them. So you don't know how hard it was for me today when I got the alert that shots fired in Steel Creek, and that's the district I worked since 2014. For the most, as a sergeant, I was over street crimes, and so my instant, I gotta fucking go. You're thinking, I'm like, wait a minute, it's not my responsibility anymore. Yeah, look, Weaver played Pee Wee football and hurt some hips, and then he ended up having to get him replaced 32 years later. But I remember when he was in 6th grade, he was a pretty good football player. So Weaver played college ball. I give him a hard time, but now we call him the Bionic Man. He's got hips of steel. Or
he had 2 hips replaced and came back.
Yeah, he was one of my guys. So Marcus,
I get a splinter and I'm out. I'm out.
Weaver was one of my FMT guys. He's a good dude. I could outrun him 99% of the time, but he was still good.
You outrun who?
Weaver. Even with the bionic hips.
Not Terry Weaver.
Well, not Terry Weaver, but Marcus.
Not Marcus Weaver either.
I could outrun them all, man.
Okay. You listen. Hey, that's news to me. I have
Marcus? Wait, hold on.
I have yet to see a white guy lose a race to a black guy. That's just me.
I don't know. Hey, how many black guys I catch in the hood, man? They don't get away from me.
Well, that's the hood. It's the difference between hood speed and real speed.
Okay, that's Marcus, not Terry. I'm sorry.
Marcus has real speed.
Marcus
hood
is Terry's
speed is that adrenaline. I don't want to go back speed. And remember, you know why hood speed is better? You know why crackheads are better at running? Think about it. When you're chasing a crackhead, where are you chasing them through? Their domain. So they know the potholes, they know the gates, they know the dark alleys, they know where to turn, they know where to jump. They know where to go. I know your name is Maurice Weaver, but yeah, it's like
what did I say, Marcus?
Yeah, you said Maurice. See, you think we all look alike? It's Maurice.
Blow that shit up,
But
man. You got a text too small. I can't see that.
oh, you can. Okay, there it is. It's Maurice. It's Maurice
Maurice.
Weaver. Maurice Bartholomew Weaver. I bet you didn't know that was his middle name.
Bartholomew.
Yeah,
Bartholomew.
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 Yeah, I'm
MB,
lying, but
MBW.
see how
Oh, that'd be
fast
cool. I
you
like that.
believe me.
We'll go with that.
But yeah, but that's the thing, man. When you're going through these bouts and you're a police officer and you enjoy what you do, you want to get back, man. You want to get back, baby.
Mhm.
Like I forgot to even say, like, why the fuck are you still getting alerts to shit that's happening at
I
CMPD?
know.
I listen, unless a friend texts me and tell me what's going on, I don't know. I don't want no damn alerts.
I know.
The alerts I get, like Pedro Mexican restaurant text me today and said, "Hey, 10% off for lunch." That's the
What?
type of alerts I want.
What? You didn't send that shit to me.
You got to know people.
Fuck. Hey,
You got to know people.
hey, real quick. You're supposed to get your shit framed. Where's it at? Show us. Go get it. I know that's right. Go fucking get your shit.
Why you supposed to be my boy? Like why you doing this?
I expected it to be hanging on the back wall, man.
All right,
You know
listen,
why you don't
people.
have it hanging on the back wall? Because it reflects your TV that you're watching the fucking 76ers game
Shut
right
up. Listen,
now.
for those who don't know, I got my master's. I graduated, right? So, shout out to Yoli and Ortiz. She took a picture of her on Instagram, and she has her 2 degrees in one frame, and it looks really nice and neat. And I said, "Oh wow, that's awesome! Like, where'd you get that from?" She was like, "I went to Michael's. Go to Michael's, and they'll do it for you." So I went to Michael's. My wife and my cousin Javarier, they got this thing where they're like, don't send Prince Blue anywhere by himself because he just gonna believe everything that people say and he gonna let them do anything. So I went to Michael's and I said, ma'am, this is the picture of the frame that I like. Do whatever you want. She was like, so you want me to pick out the stuff? I was like, listen, ma'am, just do whatever you can, get it as low as you can, and make it work. She said, okay. I go to pick up my degrees. Look at this, people. Look at this shit right here. Look at this.
It's like a wall. I mean,
Like what the
it's like
hell
a
is this?
partition, man. You can put that and use it like a room divide.
I look like I should be teaching night classes at
What did they tear
somebody's
it apart?
community
What
college.
did they take it all like? I
I
thought
don't
everything.
know. I don't know. Like what the hell is this?
they what?
Bro, this is the size of a small car. Like
That's a smart car right there. Electric.
I don't know like what they thought. Like I get it. I am proud of my accomplishments, but shit. Like,
Where do you put
people
it?
with plaques like that are replacing hearts
It's like a billboard.
or finding cures
Put
for STDs.
put it outside in your front yard. Just hang it up.
This thing is huge, man. It's like a Flavor Flav clock.
I wish I had a master's degree.
Excuse me. You can have one.
Yeah. I'm from the mountains, man. We don't get very smart up there.
You can get one really fast. Like, listen,
I just pay for one.
If Von Miller, the football player, could get a degree in poultry, you know what poultry is?
Yeah.
It's chicken.
Chicken.
He has a degree in chicken. Like, listen, you get a degree in anything you want. Believe that. Listen. But he said gotta be extra when you get your master's. People keep telling me that, Bethany, but I'm still trying to work it out. But um
I
my
can't see
mom,
that shit. Post that shit so I can see it.
okay, here we go. Bethany said you gotta be extra when getting your master's.
Yeah.
My mom asked, where's your high school diploma? You have it, mom. Like, I kid you not. No matter what goes on in the world, like I cannot get my high school diploma from my mama. Like she like, no, it stays with me. I done got bachelor's, masters. You think she want that? No. She wants my high school degree. Like she keeps it.
She's
Like my
probably
diploma.
celebrating that. That's the time you moved out of the house. She's probably like,
I
so,
stayed a little bit. I didn't
I
move
did too.
out.
I did too. I was
I
in
didn't
college.
move out until oh damn. Yeah, white people, y'all stay for a while.
Yeah.
Like y'all good.
Yeah.
Long as y'all get good grades
Food.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the getting back to it, that let's I'm just because the department would be like, no, the community would be like, why should we care?
Yeah.
And pretty much for the last half an hour, we've been telling you why you should care, because that's the same quality of service that you're going to get. If officers are unhappy, you're going to continue to get police brutality. You're going to continue to get bad shootings. You're going to continue to get cops that are taking bribes, taking money, um, lying on reports. You're going to get, if a police officer is happy and really cares about his job and really cares about how he's perceived by the community, he's going to do everything in his power to make sure he do his job right. I didn't say be flawless. I didn't say be perfect. I didn't say don't make mistakes. But he's not going to make mistakes on purpose.
And and
That's
and
the wrong police officer
and
you want.
people need to remember that we're human beings. We make mistakes. We go through. When I went through it, 580 hours of training to be police academy. I think they bumped it up to whatever it's 650, 700 hours. Uh, there's no way to prepare for somebody trying to kill you, dealing with dead people, high stress situations. Where'd you go? What are you?
I'm still here.
What was that icon?
I have to cough.
Oh, it was like a. You
It's
watch
an
like
avatar. My
Alame, Alame, what
my
do they call it?
my
Anime,
son did it. Anime.
anime.
Why you
Okay.
so damn country, man? It's anime. Anime,
Alamo,
anime,
Alamo. So,
anime.
mhm. So it's a hard time to be a cop. I don't know who would do it. Uh, the Fogey, yep, she's finally here. Good to hear from her. But it's it's a horrible time with the administration is against you. We've said this before. Politicians are against you. The vocal citizens are against you. The people always say, "Oh, the majority are."
Your
I say,
own
"Well,
damn family's against you.
where are they at?" Because you do the right thing, and then what happens is, so next time somebody's busting your fucking door down to break in, don't bitch about cops taking 15, 20 minutes to get there, because that's probably that's probably the average response time, right? I don't know how many times we're on a call, we're in a shooting or a homicide or a robbery, another one goes out. Everybody's messed up or tied up. No one's going. And how many times do you hear these words? Headquarters, they would call the sergeant, which, when I was over patrol, 1025, there's no units citywide. So that means we have 2,000 officers in Charlotte.
And they're
right?
all busy.
Right. So they're not all working at times. You divide that by 3 shifts and special operations. So we probably have 200 officers or so at a certain time, 13 divisions, 8 to 12, 15 maybe per district. So no one's available.
Steph, can you explain how
No one's
sometimes you
going. No
have
one's coming to you.
can you explain how sometimes you would hear this? It would be so busy, you would hear this. Concord PD on CMPD to assist. Concord. Concord. You're not making this stuff up, but you know what? And I'm gonna tell y'all this, ladies and gentlemen. I can guarantee you, all 2,000 of those officers aren't busy to the point to where they can't clear a call and go to the next call. But you know what that stems from? Officers that are tired, drained, morale is low. They no longer give a shit. So they're like, why should
Okay.
I put myself in a hole with multiple
And
calls?
in officers, so they take a 50, which is a accident in a parking lot, no injuries. So you get hey, somebody fender bender in the parking lot in Walmart. That officer's like, they get there, talk to the people. Oh, we don't need a report. Just give us the complaint numbers. And they're like, I've got 45 minutes to milk. I'm just sitting on this car for 45 minutes. They're tied. They tie themselves up. And so calls are going out. They're like, hey, I'm going to go get a Slurpee. I'm going to go do this. This is 45 minutes that I won't get in trouble. And that's what happens. And it happens frequently. And
Or you're that officer that's like, okay, I'm gonna put that 50 behind. I'll catch up later. I'll do this. I'll do
how
that.
many fucking times
5 calls in.
that back in the day, we'd go to a call, it would be a report call, robbery. Give me the information, the suspect left, okay, 10-8, UL, unable to locate. You get the information, headquarters clear me, give me the next call. I would take, and you would too, I've heard you do it, Blue, is you take your lunch break with 5 reports in queue, which queue means behind, and you would take your lunch break just to get caught up on reports. So you would go grab a fucking Wendy's burger and take your 30-minute lunch break, catching up on reports, and then clear me, give me the next one. But then even when that shit was, you got 30 minutes. How many times have you been on lunch break and shit goes out and like headquarters clearing me from my signal 12 and give me the call? You don't get a lunch break. Sometimes you wouldn't eat at all.
And now guess what's happening now? You got a police officer that's eating a Wendy's burger inside his car. Now, I'm not saying you can't have a Wendy's burger, but is that really the best thing to be eating at 3 a.m.? No.
Who's making that shit to begin with?
The nice meal that your wife made you or prepare for you, you don't have time to go into a QT, heat it up. How many times have you went to go heat up your food and somebody be like, officer, I see you eating, but I got a question. If you see me eating, why do you still have a question? Can I eat?
It never ends.
No.
Man. Yeah.
It never ends. It never ends. But when you got somebody like me, you got somebody like Steppe that love this job and love to do what it has to be done to protect this community, to protect the city that you're in, you take it and it manifests itself.
Because it's a calling.
PTSD.
Yep. Because you give a shit. If you don't give a shit, I have good friends who don't give a shit. They do this job for the pension. They do it for a job security. They don't care about their officers. They don't care about people around them. They don't care about the community. It's just a job. For people like you and me and a lot of other cops, it's not 40 hours a week. This is a lifestyle. It's a calling. People like, hey, who are you? Like, would ask me, hey, who are you? What would you say? Who are you? I'm like, I'm a cop. Right? So it's an identity. It become your identity because that's what you're passionate about. What's my passion? Well, what's your hobby? Well, I'm a cop. I like to catch bad guys. That's my hobby, right? What do you do for fun? I catch bad guys. What do you do for stress relief? You go to the gym.
I bowl.
You bowl. You're in the wait. Hold on. If you weren't here last week, what's it called?
I'm in excuse me. Yeah. I am in a senior swingers bowling league. Seniors bowling league.
Senior swingers ball league.
Bowling, not ball.
And of course, Maurice is like talking about the Blue Mary about.
Listen, and we all have like QT. Let me tell you something. We're gonna have a little bit of fun, right? Let me tell you something. On third shift, QT gas station is if I'm responsible for 80% of the reason why I have type 2 diabetes, QT is responsible for the other 20. Because they are just phenomenal. They have so much stuff. So much stuff. Yes.
They get a shit free. You go in there and be like,
free.
Yeah. I've seen you eat 3 or 4 hot dogs at one time.
You know what? When you say stuff like this, like you see me eat 3 hot dogs at a time, people believe that. because
Yeah.
they look at me and they look at you and they be like, I can
Hey,
believe it.
who's that dude behind you in the jungle camo? Who's that dude?
Oh, that is Private Blue.
How much
Fresh, fresh.
shit off the wall? Let me see that. Bring it up close.
Oh, it's on command strips.
Oh my god.
But I was 165 pounds.
Hey, what'd you do in the
I was
military?
I, at my lightest. I was 175 pounds
What's your
in the
MOS?
military.
What'd you do?
I, I was a 42 Alpha,
Machine gunner?
human resource specialist. Close.
Oh, close. Yeah. Yeah. Dude, I was telling you at softball, you're like, yeah, I fucking, I had a saw or M60 or something.
Nah, I was a human resource specialist.
That's good.
I did it all, man. Paper copiers, shredders, presentations, laminates, numbers. Um, do you not know I am certified to drive a sanitation truck.
What?
Yeah,
My stuff's a little backed up.
a big ass sanitation truck. I am certified to drive it.
Come, can you come pick up my stuff? I've got like,
No, I'm not picking up your
I
trash.
got another week before the recycle gets here and they're both full. Come on, man.
No. I did that for over 10 years, taking out the trash. My trash days are done.
All right. I get
Done. But listen, because we gotta wrap
Yeah.
this up. Um, in closing, um, officers, police out there, let me say this to you. If anybody knows that this job sucks at times, it's me and Step. But what we want to change is you no longer have to bear that at home or in your patrol car or in your marriage or with your children. Talk to somebody, talk to us, talk to a professional, talk to somebody. Don't think mental health is not a weakness, it
Mm-mm.
is a strength,
No.
especially if you communicate that you need help. That is strength. Do you know how strong it is to tell somebody that you need help? Oh, big bad Prince Blue, who's been in the military, who's a police officer, who has shot people, who's been in fights, who loves to fight, who does all this. I cry when my bipolar and my depression gets the best of me. I break down. I cry. My
Yeah.
wife would tell
I've
you.
done it.
I cry.
You watch.
You have no choice. You can't shoot nothing. You can't fight nothing. You can't punch nothing. So the only thing you could do is cry. And I'm telling you, if you get to that point, talk to somebody. It's not okay. We're here for you. This is what we want to change the narrative. If the department don't want to do anything, me and Step will do it. If you just need the name of somebody to talk to, we'll look it up for you. We'll do that for you because that's what we're here for. Because we understand. Without you on the front line, I can't live in my house and not worry about somebody coming in my house. Step can't live in his house and not worry about somebody coming in his house. Without you, without medic, without fire, without officials, we can't do it without you. So if you need help, we're here. And believe it or not, there are people in the community
Oh yeah.
that support you,
And if you
black
don't feel
and white.
if you don't feel comfortable going through the department, contact us. We'll give you references. I talked to I talked to a psychologist, and you got to do what you got to do. So, Blue, to your point, yeah,
I know, man. I know.
yeah,
And for those who don't know, Step Step is incredibly passionate because I'm telling you, I know this man. He's one of the toughest men I know. He's one of those that I would take Step any neighborhood, all black, all Hispanic, I don't give a shit what the neighborhood is. I will take Step with me because I know for a fact he's going to get shit done. He's going to be fair and he's going to treat people with respect.
Yeah.
So when you see Step without words and he can't express how he feels, that's because he cannot. I've
Yeah.
seen that man be in his darkest moments, in his darkest days. And that's how much being a police officer means to him. So when he sees other guys getting, you know, in trouble and they need help and
Yeah.
they're not getting it, that hurts him.
Yeah.
And it hurts
And
me.
and this month is PTSD Awareness Month. So
Yes.
mental health. And you ask anyone about Blue or me, we're a cops cop. We care about cops. We care about, we give a shit. We care about the community. We care about, we want to do this job. So that's why it's painful for us to be in the spot that we are, that we can't actually help. So we do something like this to do the best we can. But if you're a cop, if you do police work, you're going to have PTSD, a cumulative PTSD. You don't have to be in a fucking shooting. You don't have to be in you watch your partner get shot. You don't have to shoot somebody. You don't have to be hit by a car. It's a cumulative shit you deal with. And in Charlotte or other big cities or some small towns, the shit that you deal with is daily. 15, 20 calls a shift, dead people, brains blown out, kids killed in car wrecks, kids dead, people dead, innocent people dead, people shot in the face. I mean, you deal with all that shit and go to the next call. And I one more quick fucking bullshit story is right towards the end of my career, before I medically retired, there's a wreck, and there's a little black female girl that's probably 8 years old, and she was hurt. She had a broken arm, nothing life threatening, but for some reason to watch her fucking in pain and cry out broke my heart, and I had to go back to my patrol car and almost broke down in tears because the having kids, white, black, Hispanic, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what race they are. In pain breaks your heart. And that was the point where I've seen dead kids, I've seen all kinds of bad stuff, but I was the point where I couldn't take it anymore. So this kid was the point to, I knew that my apps on my iPhone were filled and then I needed help. I couldn't download anymore. I couldn't download any more trauma to my brain, and I needed to get help. And there's plenty of officers. You see it in their eyes. You see that look in their eyes that they need help, and they're scared of retaliation. They're scared to lose their job to get the help. Ask somebody. Call us. Text us. We'll confidential. We'll do whatever we can. We'll recommend a psychologist, but don't. The worst thing you could do is let it linger and destroy your family life. So don't do it. Don't do it. And once you destroy your family, you destroy your career, relationships it's not worth it.
Well said, Step. And you can find me at Real Prince Blue on Twitter, at Real Prince Blue on Instagram, at Real Prince Blue now on TikTok. Ayo, I'm addicted. That's another story for another day.
I told you.
And and Prince Blue on Facebook.
What am
Tell
I?
them where they can find you, Jay.
I always
You
forget.
can find John Step on TOG4280.
Yeah, one of the two.
Yeah, on TikTok and Instagram and on Facebook. Everybody, please have a safe rest of the night, safe rest of the week, and we will see you again on Wednesday. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. Thank you to everybody that continues to help us, and a special shout out to Miss Colleen Odegaard, our
Yep.
podcasting guru, teacher, mentor. She's teaching us how to do this, and she's helping us get it right. Shout out to my homie DJ Dells, the original OG, please check out his YouTube page. That's my guy. He's always showing love and support. I appreciate you. Thank you to everybody, man. This has been fun. This has been, man, these shows keep getting better and better, and it's because
Yeah,
of you, and me and John really appreciate it.
it is. Continue to do better. Peace.
Y'all have a good night. We're out.